Welcome to Living Local with Lori.
Hi, I'm Lori Johanneson, a top performing realtor in Naperville and the surrounding suburbs. My goal is to connect my friends, my family, and my clients with other local area experts. Today, I am lucky to be interviewing Allie Russo from Russo Law Firm, which is a local estate planning firm here in the Chicagoland area. Allie, do you mind quickly introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your business and your background?
Absolutely. Thank you, Lori. So I have an estate planning and estate administration firm that's located in Hinsdale. We cover all of the western suburbs primarily, but all over Chicago. And we do the front end estate planning. So we'll form wills and trusts and powers of attorney for our client. And then we're also able to help with the, kind of back end stuff after death or upon incapacity with probates and trust administration. And we do have a practice area in trust litigation as well, which we're trying to avoid with our drafting. And with this conversation, hopefully we can give some good tips on how to avoid the fight down the road.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because that's what we were discussing a little bit up front. If that's something that having everything set up would definitely avoid. And a lot of people think doing an estate plan or a living trust or anything like that is something that you do when you're old, because that's when you really need it. But it is something that can be set up early, and it can change and evolve as we all get older. And I find a lot right now as I'm helping all the baby boomers who are now relocating out of state or downsizing and excited about the next chapter of where they're going to be living, they don't have it set up. And sometimes one or the other spouse isn't completely there. So the importance of having it set up is super important for them, but it's also important for the first time home buyers, like we discussed, and so on and so forth. So it's something that can continue to evolve to help issues later. What is the process like? Like, how long does it take to actually get something like this set up?
Yeah. So, and I do recommend that, especially upon buying your first home, having children is a great time to start estate planning. I get plenty of clients that come in who are retired and their kids are grown and they haven't done it before. And now they're like, oh, we should get something in place. So we work with a whole range of people. It's never too late. I don't judge when people come in and they think that I'm going to think they're, didn't do what they were supposed to do 30 years ago. But so the process is we do, an initial meeting and intake of what the family situation looks like, what the assets are, what the goals are of the client, as far as who they want to have manage their affairs, whether they're incapacitated or after their death, and then what's happening with their assets, and that can be simple distributions to adult children, or it can be putting much more restrictive trusts in place for when there are minor children involved. And these documents tend to evolve over time. So we notify our clients every 5 years to open that file and look at the documents, and is it still fitting your life and your goals. So once we get that initial information, then we generate documents, get them signed after meeting with the client. But then importantly, after that, making sure the assets that should be in the trust make their way in there. And a lot of times the primary asset will be one or more pieces of real estate. So we'll work with the clients to make sure those, if appropriate, go into the trust. And then we'll also, in addition to the trust, create powers of attorney for property and healthcare, and a will, just to make sure that all bases are covered and the control is within the person making those documents.
Yeah, no, having the power of attorney definitely is very beneficial, being set up front just for one or the other, but also being in a real estate transaction and doing the best I can to get them the absolute most money, and then having 4 or 5 children fighting over how much the house should sell for because they all have a stake in the game. Yes. Is it's really hard to watch as a realtor. And I'm just saying, this is as much as we can get, and having to contact 4 or 5 different people who are all have their foot in it is really, really challenging. So it definitely helps if this is something that can come in and have one person in charge. Yes. Versus 4 or 5, because dragging it out, even in a seller's market, people are anxious. They just want everything said and done. And the more you delay, the worse people are going to start to feel about the process. So, I hope by having you on my Living Local series that people will realize how easy it is, how nice you are, and that it is something that you don't have to wait until you're 60, 80 years old to actually establish for your family. You can start it in your, early 30s or
Absolutely.
whatever, as you're starting and putting together and organizing your future life, because it definitely makes things easier for everybody that you love and care about. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to that?
No, I think you said, you're a good sales. I should hire you to sell my services for me. So, no, we do try to make it, we have a very, I have a great background in this area, and everyone I've hired is really good at what we do. So we, really work to make it an easy process. And I think if you are, whether you're working with me or another attorney in this area, it shouldn't be made overwhelming. It shouldn't be stressful. You need to go find someone that can make the process easy but thorough for you. And it's just, it's something that it's an investment of time and money now that saves a lot of heartache down the road, for sure. Yes.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
If you could share, if you've been watching my series, a fun fact or a story that everybody will find interesting.
Yeah.
No pressure.
So yeah, I am the only woman in my house. I have 3 sons, and a husband and a dog who's a boy. And so I have learned a couple things in that. One, I tend to talk to myself a lot because no one's very conversational. 2, I have thick skin. And 3, I have two of my 3 boys are hockey players. So I will be very nice in the office, or if you meet me, for a drink or something, but don't mess with me, when I'm at the hockey rink, because I am a hockey mom through and through. So yes.
Well, there you go. I love it. I love the strength and the power of a woman who isn't afraid to, cheer and support the people who are around you. Well, yes. I really appreciate you. I'm glad that we are able to reconnect after so many years after Nicole had introduced us. So thank you again for being a part of it.
Thank you for your time and for getting me on here. Thank you.
Also, remember to follow us on Instagram at Johanneson Home.